Sunday at 4:40 p.m., the Philadelphia Eagles will play at Soldier Field against the Chicago Bears in the NFC Wild Card Playoffs. We're here to talk about the Bears, the champions of the NFC North. Hi, everyone. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, along with the Hall of Famer Brian Westbrook. And the Chicago Bears, Brian, a 12-4 season, extremely impressive. And when you talk about them, you begin on the defensive side of the ball. They are great on defense.
Dominant in the trenches. And you talk about good defenses, they do a couple of things. They dominate in the trenches. That means they get after the quarterback. They make it hard for any quarterback to exist in the pocket. They take the ball away, and they create havoc on the defense side, and they get off the field. This Chicago Bears defense does all of that. It starts up front, just like we mentioned with Khalil Mack coming off the edge. How do you stop a young man that's on a mission, gets traded over from the Oakland Raiders, and it starts at the beginning of the season, strip sacks, all different types of confusion in the backfield because of him. We have to first find a way to block the kid off the edge.
I actually like the matchup. Now, it's not just Khalil Mack. It's Akeem Hicks as well.
Yeah, very good player.
A Pro Bowler. Eddie Jackson, their safety, a Pro Bowler. Kyle Fuller, a cornerback, a Pro Bowler. But I kind of like it. I like when teams have a very strong front seven because the Eagles block that up well. I mean, when you've got Lane Johnson and Jason Peters who needs to stay on the field and be healthy, that's a favorable matchup to the Eagles. I think back to the Christmas game last year when the Eagles shut Mack down when he played for the Oakland Raiders. That gives me a lot of confidence.
You know what gives me a confidence is that Lane Johnson is still upset about not being selected to the Pro Bowl. And I remember just last week, Doug Peterson said Lane got here at 2:30 in the morning. He's focused on blocking guys and doing different things. And this happened to me in 2006. Tiki Barber was selected to the Pro Bowl. I was upset about it, thought I should be selected. I focused in those last couple weeks of the season. And Lane has an opportunity now. Let's show how good you are. You're going against one of the best, if not the best, pass rusher in the league in Khalil Mack. Let's see how good you are. I think Lane has an advantage. He's hungrier. He's playing with a better football team. And I think Lane is now focused and ready to go out there and show the world how good he really is. He should be a perennial Pro Bowl type of player. He has an opportunity to show the entire world this week.
So the Bears, though, defense, no joke, 299.7 yards allowed. That's third in the NFL. They're first in the NFL against the run. They're first in rushing yards per game. They are first in the league in quarterback rating, only 72.9. They lead the NFL with 27 interceptions. They're legit. So if you are Doug Peterson and Mike Groh, what kind of game plan are you putting together? Understanding that you got to be patient.
Yeah, you have to be patient. You want to be balanced like we've had these last couple of weeks. You want to make sure that they're thinking about different things, not just pinning their ears back, getting after the quarterback. And so you want to be able to run the ball. And if you're passing the ball, especially early, you want to get the ball out early. You want to get the ball out of Nick Foles' hands. You don't want to put him in a situation where he's holding the ball 4 or 5 seconds in the pocket. You don't want to do that. That's when you get into trouble. And then if you want to take a deep shot, no problem. Take a deep shot. Just make sure you block it up. Full protection. Make sure your tight ends and your backs are ready to protect, help your offensive line. If you do that, I still think that you have some opportunities down the field to complete the football.
Yeah, so the Eagles, that's the approach for the offense perhaps. Now, the Eagles' defense matches up pretty well against Chicago. It's not an explosive offense. They rely a lot on short passes from second-year quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, who's done a nice job under Matt Nagy, the first-year head coach, developing into a quality NFL quarterback. He doesn't have the big arm. He's a good athlete, maybe not the most cerebral quarterback, doesn't have all the skills, but he's in the playoffs. They're the champions of the division, and he's at home.
Trubisky has done decent this year. I mean, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, so he's willing to throw the ball to the other team. For us, I think we continue to do the same thing. Dominate up front, make it uncomfortable for the quarterback in the pocket, and play some tight defense. Don't give up the big plays on the back end. That's what we've done successfully the last 3 weeks here. We can do that again here today. Now, when you look at the Chicago Bears, Trubisky, big-time passer. He can throw the ball down the field. Tariq Cohen, a guy that you can use out of the backfield, similar to Darren Sproles, similar to James White, similar to Deion Lewis. He's not going to carry the ball an awful lot, but if you get him in space, he can hurt a defense.
So what do you do? So he's averaging 4.5 yards a carry. He's got 71 receptions. I just think that can you jam him at the line of scrimmage? Can you chip him? What can you do to slow him down?
Well, this is what you do. You gang tackle. Our defense has been built recently around gang tackling. Put some guys around him. If you get in space with him, bring some help. More than one guy, he will make the first guy miss. He's talented enough to do that. But you have to gang tackle. Get some guys around him. Make it hard on their team. And then, similar to what we did against the Rams, make them go 10, 12, 14 play drives. If they can do that and score, more power to them. I don't think that this football team from the Chicago Bears is going to be able to exist when they have to go 10, 12, 14 plays down the field to score the football against our defense.
Jordan Howard, a solid running back. He's really picked it up the last few games. He's got 9 touchdowns, 935 yards, averaging only 3.7 yards per carry. So it's not a dynamic run game, but, we saw them play against the Vikings, and they chew you up. They beat you down. They stay within themselves. They don't turn the football over. So you got to find a way to make Trubisky beat you. He's got 24 touchdown passes, but remember, 6 of them came in one game.
That's right. This is the thing. We have to stay consistent offensively and defensively. Never to allow ourselves to the point where we're saying, hey, we're getting overwhelmed. And the other thing, most importantly, on the offensive side of the ball, we have to control the ball. Turnovers, big-time play in the turnovers. And we talk about complete game. That means offense, defense, special teams. Hitting yards on special teams. We need to get some field position advantages, especially when you're going into the visiting stadium in the playoffs.
B-West, does it matter that the Eagles, a seasoned team, a playoff-tested team, a Super Bowl winning team, is playing a team, first-year head coach in the postseason, first time the quarterback's been in the postseason?
Big-time experience factor for this Philadelphia Eagles team. We've been tested. We've been approved. We obviously went on to win the Super Bowl last year. Now we have to go on the road and show how good we are. We're going against a first-year coach, a quarterback that hasn't played meaningful games in the playoffs, a team that's just barely been together but a short amount of time. We have the advantage right there. I remember the Super Bowl, and we went to play Tom Brady. I didn't understand what was going on at halftime. 45 minutes of halftime. I didn't understand pregame, 45 minutes of pregame going back into the tunnel. The Patriots had the advantage. We didn't know what was going on. It was our first time there. We have the advantage in this game as far as the experience goes. Now we need to relate that onto the football field, and we should be able to do that.
And the weather shouldn't be a big deal. Late Sunday afternoon at Soldier Field. So good game for the
football
kickers.
Weather.
Yeah, football weather, great crowd, awesome environment. And it's the playoffs, everybody. The Eagles, with 5 wins in their last 6 games, as hot as any team in the National Football League. That's our first look at the Chicago Bears, the Eagles' opponent for the Wild Card Weekend. Sunday, 4:40 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. Make sure you tune in for that. Brian Westbrook, thanks so much. Dave Spadaro, we thank you for joining us on First Look, the Eagles and the Bears on Sunday.